Okay, so we're going to look at numbers 7 through 10 now. Here we have number 7. Find the surface area of this cylinder. Use the formula SA equals 2 pi r squared plus pi dh. Now remember, 2 pi r squared, we know pi r squared is the formula for finding area of a circle. So when you multiply by 2, what you're doing is you're finding the area of this circle and this circle combined. And then plus pi dh. Pi d is your circumference formula. C equals pi d. H stands for height. This 5 inches here is the height of the entire cylinder. Pi d, the circumference of this circle, also happens to be the length of this rectangle here, which is the lateral surface of that cylinder. See, this is just a net of a cylinder. If you were to take the two bases, which are circles, and then the lateral surface, cut down the seam and open it up, and it's in the shape of a rectangle. So let's find the surface area using this formula. So S equals, now I just wrote S equals, it's the same thing as surface area. You can use S to stand for surface area, or SA if you prefer. 2 pi r squared plus pi dh. Now remember, when finding surface area, we have an R for radius, we have a D for diameter, so it would be smart to write these both down here, R equals and D equals, and get these values written down. I'm going to clean things up here a little bit. Got kind of a mess here. That's better. If you look at this circle here, this measurement goes from the center of the circle out here to the outside of the circle. That's your radius of 3 inches. The diameter goes all the way across, so we need to double this 3 inches to get our diameter. So the diameter is 6 inches. Again, the 5-inch measurement here is the height of the entire cylinder. So let's just start plugging some numbers in here. I'm going to rewrite the formula, but now substituting in some numbers. So in my first quantity, I have 2 times pi, which is 3.14, times r, the radius, 3 squared, plus, and in my second set of parentheses, my second quantity, I have pi, 3.14, times d, the diameter, which is 6, times h, then the height of the cylinder is 5. So really, we just have to be careful that we substitute in the right numbers in these places. And then we're going to go ahead and solve each of these separate quantities, and then we'll add the results together. So 2 times 3.14 times 3 squared. That'd be what? 9 times 6.28. 56.52. And you can check this yourself using your calculators. 2 times 3.14 times 9, 3 squared is 9, is 56.52. And over here I have 3.14 times 6 times 5, which is what, 94.2? Let's find out. Yep, 94.2. And then we just add these together. And so I'll do that here quickly. And when I do that, I get 150.72. Nowhere in the directions does it say to round, so I'm going to leave it as is, 150.72. It is a surface area question. Area is always square units, so we have square inches here for our label. And we are done. Now, number 8, we're looking at exactly the same cylinder. The base has a radius of 3 inches. The height of the cylinder is 5 inches. We're looking at the net here. Remember, we call this a net when it's laid out in 2 dimensions like this. So to find the volume, we use the formula pi r squared times h. Much, much easier formula to use because it's so short. Let's fill in what we know. By the way, do we know r, the radius? Yes, this 3-inch measurement is your radius because the radius connects the center of the circle to the outside of the circle. And we know this 5-inch measurement here is the height of the cylinder. So I just have pi, 3.14. We always use 3.14 for pi unless we're asked to use something else, times radius squared, so 3 squared, times the height, which is 5. And then we'll just go ahead and multiply these together. Do the exponent first. 3 squared is 9. So we really have 3.14 times 9 times 5. And that equals 141.3. Now, volume is cubic units because it's 3 dimensions. We're seeing how much it can hold if you were to fill up this cylinder with, water or pudding, as I've said before, sand, whatever you want to use to fill it. It's inches cubed, cubic inches. Volume is always cubic units since we're filling all 3 dimensions inside of that cylinder. 141.3 cubic inches. All right, number 9. Oh, find the surface area of this cylinder. And again, I'll always give you the formulas. The formulas will always be given on the test as well. You don't have to memorize these. Surface area, S equals 2 pi r squared plus pi dh. It's nice to have a formula, even in this case when it's kind of a long formula. I'll rewrite it here, 2 pi r squared. That gives me the area of the 2 circles, plus pi dh. That'll give me the area of the lateral surface, the surface that wraps around the cylinder. Now I'm going to rewrite this, but substituting in some numbers. So 2 times pi is 3.14, times the radius. We need the radius. We also need the diameter. So let's fill in these amounts here. See what r equals, see what d equals. This 6 centimeter measurement is the radius. See how it's just going halfway across the circle? So the radius is 6. The diameter would go all the way across, so I need to double 6, which is 12. And so now let's go ahead and finish this. 2 times pi, 3.14, times the radius, 6 squared, plus, and then in my second quantity, pi, 3.14, times the diameter, d is 12, times height, which is 16. All right. I need to solve what is in this set of parentheses. I need to solve what is in this set of parentheses. Then I can add those results together. So that first set of parentheses, 2 times 3.14 times 6 squared, should be somewhere around 216. Let's see what we get. Ooh, 226.08. So my estimate was pretty close. 226.08. Plus, and then over here, 3.14 times 12 times 16. That equals 602.88. Now I just have to add these together and let's see what we get. I get 828.96. Area is square units, so it's square centimeters. Nowhere in the directions does it say to round, so I'm going to leave my answer just as is, 828.96, or 828 and 96 hundredths square centimeters. Okay? It is very important that you show all of your work on paper. You're not going to be able to keep all of this straight mentally without having a very high likelihood of making an error. So showing your work is really critical. And then one last question, find the volume of this exact same cylinder. Use the formula V equals pi r squared h. This will be much quicker because it's a shorter formula. We need to know the radius. It's given. It is 6 centimeters. We need to know the height of the cylinder. That's also given. It's 16 centimeters. So I'm going to just substitute those numbers in. Pi, 3.14, times the radius, 6, squared, times the height, which is 16. All right, and then I'll grab my calculator. We know 6 squared means 6 times 6, which is 36. So I'm just going to take 3.14 times 36 times 16, and that equals 1,808.64. 1,808 and 64 hundredths. Volume is always cubic units, and we're working with centimeters here, so it's cubic centimeters. We'll put cm cubed. So 1,808.64 cubic centimeters. There you go. Be sure to study well. Make sure you understand how to do all these different types of problems, and you should do great on the quiz tomorrow. All right, I'll see you guys. Take care.